Moon gang. Hello. What is going on? Happy Thursday, July 29th. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. I hope you are having a good one. Audio check. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we are ready to rock today. Let's get it, folks. First of all, I hope everyone's having a good one. I hope you're having a dandy of a day. Exciting. Hang on. Let's get hooked up to NASA here. All right. We are looking good. Good. Damn, on time. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, folks, you have to understand, when I'm late to stream, traffic's bad. Sometimes, like in the morning, traffic's bad, and I have like a really tough time getting down from my like living room to my basement, and I get caught up on that freeway I like to call the staircase. And sometimes I forget my phone, and I like got to run back upstairs and get my phone, and then come down, and then I'm like, oh, but I really wanted to bring like that particular frog hat down today, and then I have to run back up the stairs. It's just a traffic thing, and it's my fault. It's called poor planning, but I don't know. You guys have been there. Today should be an interesting day. Of course, we'll be talking about AMC, GME, the market at large. Very excited to see what goes on with Robinhood's IPO hitting the ground running today. I'm going to put this out there now. I don't know. I'm not feeling the best about it. Personally, I will not be trading it, but I just don't really see how I don't see how it's going to go green. Let's just put it that way. All right, folks. AMC trading at 38.68. We have about 30 minutes till the market opens, and GME trading at 170.19. Let's quickly go over the Ortex numbers. Let me reload it just to ensure that they are up to date. Interesting. They've already borrowed 3.18 million shares against AMC, setting up for kind of a potentially an interesting day. Like that's already a large borrow against AMC. Short interest up to 15.46%. In terms of GME, they borrowed 131,000 against it, and short interest is up to 14%. So with both of these stocks, I mean, we already have an increase by 1.62% in GME and an increase in 3.26% in terms of AMC. So I don't know. I don't know when they're going to choose to dump these shares or if they are, but just let's get prepared for that because they could be dumping them at any point. They could do it like right at market open if they want, or they might not do it at all. But it is odd to me that on not really a nondescript day. I mean, it is the shareholder meeting, July 29th. Don't forget, AMC, it is its shareholder meeting. I don't know if someone's gearing up to short if they hear something bad coming out of the meeting. That's like one potential aspect that could be coming on. So let's monitor these numbers, but this is probably the largest borrowed share count I've seen before the markets opened in quite a while. Maybe actually even at, I mean, 3 million already today seems odd. Let's go over the technicals. After bouncing off of the low 30s, we went up to 46, got rejected there, came down, and now we're just coasting in the high 30s, 38, 39. That's how it's kind of been over the past 5 days. Lower volume, not really much going on, so we're waiting for this period of consolidation in price action, volatility, volume, all of that to end, and looking for the next period of expansion to start. I don't know how long this consolidation will last. No one knows. Like, that's what patience is all about, and seeing what the market actually gives us. I would like to quickly point out, though, what we're seeing a little bit of this wedge right here. So we are in this wedge. Lower highs, higher lows. Let's see if this kind of can break today. So this is around 39, and then obviously 40 to 42 is very, very important. If you've been listening to like any of my streams, you know that the current level we've been watching really over the past week of trading is how AMC reacts to 40, 42. After 42, I would watch 46. After 46, I'm watching 50. But first target of the day, roughly 39, and then the area between 39.70 and 40. Those are my first two targets of like today's specific trading action. Let's look at GME. So coming back down to this support at 164, 165, bounce off of that. Let's look for this to be kind of the, like a weird, I don't know, not really a cursive, but kind of like a poor penmanship W, let's call it. But we're looking for the double bottom off of 164, 165 to hold. Thus far, it is gapping up from that low in pre-market. We're trading at 170, so we want it above 175, and then the region from 180 to 185. GME over the past 2 weeks has had very, very low volume. We definitely want some volume and some overall stock market interest to increase in GME just so we can see higher volume, higher volatility, and get some sort of trend built up. But right now, very, very low volume on GME. In terms of the overall market, strong, still strong. The Fed yesterday was talking, and they're just really going on about how, like, don't worry about inflation. We're worried more about the unemployment. We want to keep unemployment as low as possible. We really don't have any special plans to change interest rates in the near future. Hence why we're gapping up. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Boeing all reported a little bit of a mixed bag, but I would say leaning more on the bullish side, hence why the overall market is still pretty strong. The one thing that I think is still noteworthy is what's going on with Apple. Apple had a weird day. Even though it beat its earnings, it did voice some concerns about the current chip shortage that is impacting phones. And check this out. Perfect double top at 150, 150. But you know what's different here? The RSI way lower. This is the definition of bearish divergence. The stock goes to the same level, but way less momentum the second time around. Not that surprising that it actually took a bit of a hit. I would, if you're in Apple for whatever reason, I'm a long-term investor in Apple. My first target I would be watching in terms of support is 141.67. So just like the mid 144s, this previous low from July 19th. If it holds that, great. Maybe it's going to bounce. If it breaks through it, I would then be kind of watching for, I don't know, an $8-ish drop roughly. Apple's important. The reason we're talking about it, it's the biggest company. It's like $2.5 trillion, something around that. Huge company. So what it does and doesn't do has a clear impact on the overall market. S&P 500 and potentially even more is the NASDAQ 100. This is another index, 100 companies, but this one has a little bit more of a technology focus. That's why for this, it was really reactive to obviously your Microsoft, your Apple, your Google reports, because they're huge players within this particular index. So we'll kind of monitor those throughout the day. Bitcoin, crypto at large, Bitcoin right now right around 40,000, Ethereum 2,300, Doge flat at 20 cents, and then Cardano flat at $1.27. We recently saw some strength in crypto, and now it's going a bit sideways. So let's see if it can continue its momentum or what's going on there. But worthwhile to pop our head in and check it out every so often. I made an update video on this yesterday. 3 new bills. They are not yet law. They have to get out of committee and basically follow that entire process that I'm sure many of us slept through in middle school and high school when we were learning. What's that video? Isn't there like that weird cartoon about how a bill becomes a law? I remember some like a talking bill, like it was an animated piece of paper that was talking, and there's that song, and it, like, as I was making this video, that song was playing through my head. But basically, not a law yet. This is what's going on. 3 interesting bills. If you want more detail about it, I posted this video last night. It was called like Market Makers and Prisoner or something like that. But anyway, the first one, HR 4617, this is all about them asking the SEC to look into payment for order flow and weigh out its pros and cons to see if it's useful for the market, to see if it's damaging for the market. But basically, they want to see if there's any conflicts of interest and how this should all happen. But once again, this is just a bill. It's not in law yet. They're going to have to vote on it. There are various things that are in play here, but it's better than nothing. That's the thing. It's at least clearly somewhere our voices are being heard. I've made this very, very clear. I am not a fan of payment for order flow. Maybe not for the reason that a lot of people are against it, but I think it's damaging to the overall market because it is widening the bid and ask spread, which costs a lot of money, and it's making lit exchanges much more unusual and highly competitive environment, hence why they have to widen the bid ask spread. So it does end up costing quite a bit of money. That's one of the main issues with payment for order flow. And then that's just like the tip of the iceberg. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. But I've made my thoughts on this, and I think them looking into it is very, very good for us. 4618. This is another bill. All of these are bills. This was the Short Sale Transparency and Market Fairness Act. This is kind of interesting because what they're looking to do, I think it's actually better explained right here. The Short Sale Transparency and Market Act seeks to address the problem of information asymmetry by providing the SEC with the authority to increase the frequency of disclosures Wall Street, hedge funds, and other large asset managers make from quarterly to monthly. So this is referring to 13F filings. Basically, as of now, if you are managing over $100 million, currently, you have to report your positions, excluding your short positions, every single quarter. So this would increase the cadence to monthly. And also, they're looking into them actually having to report short positions. Right now, they're reporting calls, puts, and long positions. For whatever reason, to my understanding, I believe that this overall act was like made in 1934, whenever it was made, whatever it was, for some reason they thought, hey, we don't have to report shorts. Like, why would we make them do that? This one is looking into that of like, should we make them report their shorts? Once again, this is 4618. And then the final one, 4619. This is interesting. It's basically increasing the punishments if market makers are front running their clients. It can hold the CEO, even if it's someone within the organization, it can hold the CEO culpable, legally culpable. And beyond that, it kind of talks about the punishments shall be fined an amount equal to or greater of the 2 times the amount of profit realized by reason for such violation, or 50,000, whichever one's greater. I like that. 2 times the amount of profit. In my opinion, it should increase. The first one should be 2 times. The next one should be 3 times. The next one should be 4 times. The next one should be 5 times. I think it should be a sliding scale of punishment. So every time they're caught, the next time they do it, they get in even more trouble. And then here it's actually talking about various issues and received, blah, 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 during the time period in which the violations occurred in the 1 to 3 year period preceding the date on which the violation was discovered, and imprisoned for not more than 5 years. So potentially it's talking about fines for the individuals, 200% of the compensation. It can get very bad quickly, and they're even talking about some prison time. So another interesting bill, 4618. So basically you have 4617, 4618, and 4619. All of them, to me, I get it. They're just bills. I don't know if they're going to go into law, but at least it's some sort of progress. At least our voices are being heard. To me, all of these, all 3 of them, are worthwhile to look into. Why would we not look into the things that they are outlining? I would love to see the comments on it, the rhetoric surrounding it. I hope they get passed, or at least some portion of them gets passed. Like, obviously, bills and laws are always in flux and changing, yada, yada, yada. But to me, this is actual proof that the progress of Ape Nation it's on the upward trajectory. Clearly, we are being heard. I strongly believe, and maybe it's just a show. Maybe it's some fancy political person just saying, hey, no, like, I'm totally on your side. I'm hearing you out, but it's better than nothing. I don't know what's going to come from this. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe I'm just being cautiously optimistic. I hope something positive does come from it. I don't know if I necessarily hold my breath on it because it is still the government, but it is better than nothing, and it's proof that our voices are finally being heard. So I think it's on the up and up, and this is just the first ones. There's actually some other ones related. I think 4616 is relating to the gamification of trading, and that's obviously like a direct jab at Robinhood. So there's a host of bills that I would argue are supportive of what our movement is all about. So to me, that's pretty exciting. Let's go back to this. Once again, if you want more details on this, I posted it on this channel last night, something about market makers in prison. I think I called it "They Are Ducked." I think that was the thumbnail, something along those lines. All right, let me get to any questions. I'm confused about this traffic thing. I thought you lived in a basement. That being said, with the season starting, could MANU be a good buy? The traffic thing, yeah. I mean, I do go right to my basement, but that doesn't mean there's not traffic outside. Don't think about it too much because it doesn't make much sense. MANU. Usually with the season starting, people already started buying it up. Like, when people know that there's a seasonal run, they know, so they create a position before. I don't know how well the business is structured. So season or not, I don't know much about the fundamentals of it. I mean, from a technical perspective, it looks like it's trying to break out of 16, which I would say is important. If it can get that breakout, I would then probably be interested in watching 17. I don't know how much range there really is to this, but I would want to dive a little bit more into it. But the chart looks it looks bullish, but I just don't know if the reward is actually worth the risk, because you almost have to risk 1550 if you want to be very conservative, or 1450, but it just doesn't have that big of swings. Hey, Matt, I woke up with $427 margin, only 1.72 buying power without margin, and Robinhood is allowing half of my margin to be used on AMC. What changed? I'm really not sure. I have not been paying attention to Robinhood. I don't know what the change is all about, but it sounds like it's specific to Robinhood. For me, I just don't really like using them. I would highly recommend looking into another brokerage. Specific to your numbers and your count, I guess for me to reason through it, I would need a bit more info, but it might just be easier for you to reach out to Robinhood directly. So today is the day that Robinhood IPOs. Thoughts, by the way, the cartoon is Conjunction Junction. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Shout out. What grade was that? That was a flashback. Disney Educational Productions. That's hilarious. My thoughts on the Robinhood IPO, I think it's going to be a bloodbath. I will not be trading it, but I think it's going to be a bloodbath. Matt, please tell apes to be careful. Something strange has happened with Robinhood. Don't get margin called. Woke up with thousands more. It's a trap. So this is the second person who's talking about like weird issues with Robinhood margin. Are other people having weird Robinhood margin issues? Good morning. Could you check out Noke? What's Nokia doing? It's definitely gapping up. With a gap up, I in no way would recommend chasing it, because you don't know if it's going to hold. This is a good time that you wait that 15-30 minute time period at open to see if it's actually holding. If you're already in it, congratulations, but I refuse to chase gap ups. I've just seen it end badly so many times. So if you already have a position, I mean, congrats, you're killing it, seriously. But you don't want to just chase a runner. Like, this thing has been on the up and up ever since the end of March, slowly but surely coming up. And it even has some gaps under it. I would be a little hesitant chasing it now, because I mean, it's already run 50% from the end of March. I mean, it's gone from 4 to 6. It's up over 50%. That's a very, very impressive run. I mean, just roughly where are we at right now? I mean, it's up 56%. It obviously could keep going, but it's just not my type of a play. Just transferred 700 shares out of Robinhood. Enough said. Shout out, Johnny. Same thing happened to me. Woke up with more cash and margin. Interesting. Will you pay attention to the Hood IPO? Yeah, of course. I mean, I was talking about this yesterday. I feel like it's just a good popcorn event. I want to see what goes on, but I have a feeling it's going to get crushed. It's just obviously it's important that to note that there's quite a bit of animosity from the retail public towards Robinhood. But on top of that, I mean, the government sees Vlad's phone. The FINRA's looking into him to see if they're not registered. Both him and his partner, Bot, whatever that guy's name is, they're apparently not registered with FINRA, which is a huge issue. So there's actual like problems going on in the background from like a legal standpoint with our government and the SEC. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a good one. Thoughts on Didi? Isn't that the Uber of China that's having issues itself? Looks like it's gapping up. It's a recent IPO. I believe Jim Cramer was all about it, talking about how people should buy it. I believe. Someone will have to fact check me on that. But I think he was saying positive things about it. And if anything, it's just been crushed. It looks like it's gapping up today. But I believe there's somewhat of a political fight going on between Didi and their own government. And when people are fighting with the Chinese government, like their companies such as like Alibaba and now Didi, it can lead to some very negative things. So for me, and because of that reason, I'm out. I'm probably not going to mess around with it until I feel a little bit more comfortable that their own government isn't going to crush them. I also have an extra 12,000 margin available today. Some weird stuff. So it sounds like people who are on Citadel are getting a bunch of extra volume. Or margin, I guess. Not an extra volume. Sorry, I was just reading this comment about lower volume. Interesting. I don't know what's going on with that, but I guess if you are just joining in now, anecdotally, we're seeing a lot of people are having extra margin on their Robinhood account, which, I don't get it. All right, so AMC 3847 volume low this morning. GME very low volume 170.75. So let's see what's going on. It might, who knows? Right now it's lower volume. It might be a bit more of a quiet day. Yesterday was pretty awesome. 36 up to 39.50. Good run yesterday. Would love to continue the momentum today. Obviously, whenever it finally makes its debut, we will be watching Robinhood just because why not? IPO, Robinhood, IPO time. Robinhood valued at $32 billion after selling shares in IPO at 38 per share. Robinhood raised close to $2 billion selling shares in its IPO at 38 apiece. The company has about 22.5 million users of its stock trading app based on second quarter data. Revenue from the first quarter jumped 309% to $522 million from $128 million in the same period a year earlier. It sold shares at its IPO at 38 apiece, valuing the company at $32 billion. Ahead of its NASDAQ debut today, Thursday, July 29th, Robinhood priced shares at the low end of 38 to the 42 range. The company will trade under the ticker symbol HOOD. Hood sold 52.4 million shares, raising close to $2 billion. Co-founders Vlad and Bot each sold about $50 million worth of stock. Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase are the lead investment bankers on the deal. Underwriters will have the option to buy an additional 5.5 million shares. So basically, they're the one just setting it all up and actually getting the shares onto the market. Robinhood expects to swing a net loss of $487 million to $537 million in the second quarter after turning a profit in the same quarter last year. So that's another thing that's fundamentally bad with it. Options trading accounts for about 38% of the revenue, while equities and crypto are 25 and 17% of the revenue, respectively. So they make the most money off of options, which makes sense because that's probably one of the best ways for payment for order flow people to profit. All right. Interactive brokers is actually less valuable than Robinhood. Interesting. It's worth 26 billion, while currently Robinhood is being valued at 32 billion. Oh, I have a quick question. So one of the things is get people getting off of payment for order flow, PFOF. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading for some people, obviously one option is Fidelity, free trades, and if you get their Active Trader Pro, you can choose to route your orders where you want. But I'm reading more things that Public, PUBLIC, is also non-payment for order flow. Can anyone confirm that? I just want to, I don't know. I want to know what I can safely say of when I'm talking about non-payment for order flow brokerages. But I'm being told, and I'm looking into it, and I see some validity to it, that Public does not do payment for order flow. They have free trading, and the way they can sustain that business model is, I guess, through like a tipping mechanism. But I just want to. Public states that they are not payment for order flow. Okay, Derek. Yes, Public is non-payment for order flow. There's no payment for order flow on Public. Okay. I am in Canada and I emailed Wealthsimple. They confirmed they are not payment for order flow. So that's Wealthsimple for people in Canada. Can confirm the tipping. Love it. Okay. TDs lit morality to the market. Apparently, SEC is looking into payment for order flow. Yeah, I made a video on that last night. Very, very interesting. Public has moved away from payment for order flow, instead choosing to implement an optional tipping feature. We believe this transparency between the broker and investor is what the stock market needs. Someone just said public lends your shares. Does Fidelity lend your shares? Fidelity share lending. It looks like when you search Fidelity share lending, it says lend your securities, earn income. So do they both lend it? Oh, but maybe you don't even have to do it. It looks like you don't necessarily have to enroll in the share lending program. Is what I'm seeing, because sign up once, checking your eligibility, enroll, will emailed you. So I guess you can choose to just not enroll in it. Well, that becomes interesting then, because obviously Robinhood does not have tipping such as public. We know that even though it still routes most of its orders to Citadel, it's not engaging in payment for order flow. So if they're not getting that money, if you don't have to do lending, and if there's no tipping, how are they making money? Because it looks like you do not have to enroll in Fidelity lending. So I'm just trying to get everything straight in my own head. But then that becomes there's no such thing as a free lunch. If you are getting free trading, they're making money somewhere, because people don't just do free trading. Like, they're not here to say, oh, okay, like, they're not like altruistic players. Like, everyone in Wall Street is in it for profit. That's why you're in Wall Street. That's a clear psychological aspect, is they're all greedy and want money. So my question is if you're not doing payment for order flow, if you're not forcing everyone to do share lending, and if there's apparently not this tipping feature that public has, what are they doing then? Like, somehow they're making money. Fidelity lends if your account is above 250K and you have to opt in above 250K. What I'm seeing is that for many of us, that you do not have to, it looks like you have to go out of your way to enroll into the share lending program on Fidelity. At least this is just a quick look at their website. That, like, it looks like you have to sign up to enroll, check eligibility. Learn more, including what you could potentially earn through the fully paid lending program. Yeah, so you have to, like, sign up for it. So by default, you're not even in it. Interesting. I'm curious how they make their money then. Can turn off on public, have to talk to customer service, though you're automatically enrolled. Easy to turn off. Oh, Ron, I appreciate that. So Ron is saying that he's on public and you can turn off your lending. You just have to call customer service. Can anyone else confirm that, Ron? I'm not saying you're lying, but I'm just wondering if anyone else has gone through that process. Why doesn't Robinhood charge fee? Because of payment for order flow. They're making money off of PFOF. I just want to know if anyone else has turned off their lending on public. I currently don't have a public account. I think I downloaded the app. I should make an account and mess around with it just to see how it's like used. I have, and yes, it's true. Okay. Ron is correct. Okay, sweet. So just trying to get some information out there about various brokerages, but it sounds like on public, they don't do payment for order flow, and it also sounds like you can turn off share lending. You just have to give them a call. All right. Oops. Folks, the casino is open. All right, all right. Let's do this thing. Casino is open. Dingity ding ding ding. Let's get after it today. Let's get after it. AMC out of the gate at 37.50. GME out of the gate at 170. Someone says E-Trade does not lend any shares. It's not their practice. Yeah, but doesn't E-Trade do payment for order flow? There's like somehow they're making some money somewhere. It's probably tipping, lending, payment for order flow. And that's why I'm just scratching my head a little bit, because it looks like Fidelity is not really engaging in any of that. I know there's not a tipping mechanism. They don't do payment for order flow on shares. They do it on options. I wonder if they make enough money off of options payment for order flow that they don't have to do it on equities. I wonder if that's it. Because I'm just curious, because Robinhood, what we just read, they actually make more money off of options payment for order flow than they do equities or crypto. So for some reason, the market structure allows, I guess, just more money in the options world in terms of a brokerage. Something worthwhile to look into. I'll check that out and see if I can find you guys some answers. We are gonna see. Hang on. I don't want to miss a Robinhood coming out. Remember, on the day of IPO, it doesn't necessarily start trading right away. I think we're waiting. Here, let me add this. Can I add this to? I guess we're just waiting. Waiting. If anyone knows the time at which this is going to go live, obviously let me know. But I know sometimes that actually changes day of. So previously with Coinbase, it happened at like 1:30, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It does not have to come out at 9:30 in the morning. Should specify, not call, use their automated text service, then they email you back. Interesting. Fidelity's model is building an ecosystem, credit cards, and most importantly, for them diverting into their mutual funds and indexes. Oh, okay. So their game, Fidelity's game, is to just get you to be a client and to use their other products. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, Fidelity is huge. Their mutual funds and that stuff, I mean, they're massive money managers. Like, I'm talking a lot of money. Wait, I mean, this might be stupid, but I think it's over $1 trillion. Fidelity net. Assets under management. Fidelity AUM. Yeah, 10.4 trillion. Fidelity is like, this is Fidelity Investments, but it's assets under management, AUM, if you've heard that acronym before, is $10.4 trillion. That's actually bigger than BlackRock, who has 9 trillion, Vanguard, who has 7 trillion, and Charles Schwab has 3 trillion. Fidelity is like, it's huge. Absolutely massive. That's crazy. $10 trillion in assets under. I didn't realize that it was bigger than BlackRock. That's incredible. Hey, Matt, so Fidelity actually conversely does price improvement. So Fidelity actually conversely does price improvement. What do you, I guess, mean in terms of your trades, in terms of their execution? Is that what you're referring to, Hardcore 6? You have to call E-Trade to turn off your margin account to stop lending. Okay, that's from Rich. Thank you, Rich. You can turn off on public, have to talk to customer service. You're automatically enrolled. Thank you, Ron. The initial requirement for AMC on Robinhood dropped to 88%, down from 100% margin. I think it's due to how low the IV has gotten. Just a guess, though. Yeah, usually margin is highly correlated with current volatility just because the broker's trying to protect itself. Diamond Dallas Page, shout out. Dustin White, thank you. Can you explain how Cash App will work when the mother of all short squeeze and take off? Will I have full access to my money? I do not have a Cash App account, but I have not heard anything that would make me think that you wouldn't have full access to your money. Robinhood gives users extra margin in hopes that they use it to prop up their doomed stock. Wedge on the 4-hour starting on 720. Ben, I 100% agree with you. And the breakout would be right around 39 on that wedge. We were checking it out earlier today. I'm seeing the exact same wedge that you're seeing. Robinhood giving you margins so you buy their IPO. Robinhood trying to butter people up. The song is just a bill. My Schoolhouse Rock morning, Matt. What's going on, Kinky Kong? Just saying that puts a smile on my face. Kinky Kong, I don't know who you are in reality, but I don't know if I want to, because the fact that you've named yourself Kinky Kong and day over day put a smile on my face, I don't want that to change. Thoughts on AVXL? I will write that down on my list to check out when things are a bit more calm. AVXL. AVXL. Kinky Kong. That's what... Folks, if I ever run an ETF, that's going to be the name of the ETF is Kinky Kong. It's going to trade under the ticker KK, Kinky Kong, KKI, Kinky Kong Investments. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Robinhood support said they won't lend your shares unless you're using margin. Would you be concerned at all using E-Trade as a broker? I've been considering switching to Fidelity. Thank you for all your hard work. I think they're both. I have an E-Trade account. I have a Fidelity account. I have more money in Fidelity. But when I started my trading career, I was using E-Trade. They do have some sort of, I don't know if it's E-Trade Pro. I know Fidelity's is called Active Trader Pro, but E-Trade has some sort of equivalent system where you can choose to also route your orders if you're on that system. I forget, though, if that costs money. A quick Google search will tell you the answer to that. Shout out to Matthew S. Foster. Shout out Austin. We talked about Didi. More shares borrowed than traded right now. Yeah, so we're seeing a massive jump in the amount of borrowed shares on AMC. I mean, we're already up to 3.24 million, but it was at 3.18 before the market even opened. We talked about this earlier. I would recommend 4617, 18, 19, all these bills. Check out the video I posted yesterday. I also posted the individual ones on that new channel, the Matt Kohrs clips. Oh, quick reminder, Matt Kohrs clips, that midday session when I'm not streaming, if you guys still want to have a chat, I'm going to stream it on that other channel. So you guys can hang out with each other and still watch AMC and GME. And I guess today I'll probably also have up the Robinhood IPO just because it could be interesting. So I won't be there actively talking. We're going to be working to get some lo-fi background music. But for you guys just to talk throughout the day as opposed to being, I guess, just riding solo. But that will be on the Matt Kohrs Clips channel. E-Trade is still E-Trade is still PFOF. Look at the level 2 on Hood. Does it already have a level 2? Unfortunately, I can't see that quite yet. IPO outstanding, 835 million. Listed. All right, let's see if this thing's going to go live. If it starts trading or if anyone finds out a time, please let me know. AMC looking to make that red-green move right here. Let me mark that out. Did you just say they've already borrowed over 3 million shares? I surely did. They've already borrowed 3 million shares that could potentially be bet against AMC today. 3 million. Check your Twitter email for a screenshot of Fidelity lending info. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Martin. I'm just trying to get the good info out to everyone. What is this? Oh, GME more AMC. If you're listening right now, the thing you just sent me is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right. Wait, hang on. I'm trying to find this screenshot. Please look at this short exempt volume on July 8th. Remember, short exempt volume, that relates to market makers. being literally exempt from. There's certain times you're not supposed to be able to short, and market makers don't really play by those rules. Hey, AMC, folks, we're going green. We're looking froggy. You know what that means? You know what that means? We're looking a little bit froggy today, folks. Professionalism. They're like, I'm tired of this kid's gimmicks. Me too, folks. Me too. You know what's green? AMC, about to be green. You know what else is green? Frogs. Frogs are green. Frogs hop. Stocks hop. There's just the correlation between the animal kingdom and the stock market is way, way too high. Way, way too high. And I'm just trying to let you guys know, clearly there's a connection. This one, particularly an amphibian connection to the stock, but we're doing it. We're doing it. Oh, there we go. You guys see that jump? You guys see that hop? Dude, I'm telling you, it's looking froggy, folks. This is exactly how they do it in hedge funds. Honestly, this is why Wall Street and market makers and Citadel, they're all getting so pissy because finally someone's telling you. There's this misconception that hedge funds, you walk in, you're like in a suit and you're looking at Fibonacci levels and looking at EBITDA and price to earning ratios and you're talking about all this fancy math stuff. It's all a show. They do that so people see you walking on the street. They're like, oh, like that's a Wall Streeter. They're working in their suit, blah, blah, blah. They think it's all fancy. I'm telling you, folks, as soon as you actually get into the hedge fund, this is what it is. They use emojis on their charts. They use any connection they can possibly find to the overall animal kingdom. And they're just there. It's sports betting, but like in a different attire. They're just there screaming all day. They wear their favorite outfits, costumes. They do their seances. It's all about luck. And that's what it is. It's all a show. All a show. Dr. Danger back on duty. Keep it up, Frog Boy. Frog brother. Your Honor, this man is clearly manipulating the stock and he is clearly froggy hats. Everyone, all the naysayers, all the people against Ape Nation, all the people against Moon Gang, all the people directly against me, they say it. They're like, Matt's a shill. He's being paid off. I am being paid off. You know who pays me off? I get a 7-figure check per month from the frog hat industry. I'm being honest. They pay me a shitload. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you know that previously I've been paid off by the shamrock industry. I've been paid off by the green tea industry. I tried to get a deal with the Olympics, like in general. That fell through. They thought I was too skillful and they didn't want me to embarrass the rest of competition. And now it's the frog industry. Like I get 7-figure checks every single month from my various, and this is one. They give me like, so you guys don't even know how much money there is in the frog industry. Like it's an immense amount. And they're like, hey, like we need some creator who's on the front tier of entertainment and we need him to speak positively about frogs. I'm just being honest. This is it. Hello, Shield's they can clip it. I'm coming clean. I'm arguing for 7-figure deals, 8-figure deals, 9-figure deals. Like that's what this is you throw on one good frog hat and it changes the world. I'm not saying for the better, but it changes the world. I'm also trying to, I would love to get sponsored by the water industry. There was a lot of money in the tea industry, but I think there's even more money in the water industry. Unfortunately, our world has a lot more salt water, so the big money's in salt water. So I'm trying to figure out how that would possibly work. That's going on in the background. Not an amphibian advisor. There we go. Who's looking froggy today? Stocks are popping. Stocks they're not popping, they're hopping. It's a hopping day. Hoppy Thursday, folks. Man. Long on frogs. No, Hunter, I don't know if you should go long on frogs because they're pissing away their money sponsoring me. Like, their marketing budget is through the roof. Oh, man. People, they just take life way too seriously. Folks, we're here for a fun time. We're here to laugh. That's all it's about. Do they pay in frog legs? They just send me my sponsorships, and this is usually sometimes where I can hit hiccups. I just demand gold bullions, like those gold bricks. I just want truckloads of gold bullions. My overall goal with YouTube is to just have like a room full of gold bricks. That's what I want. So like all of these deals, sponsorships, even YouTube, I'm like, hey, if you're gonna pay me in gold. Like I just want gold, like a purely gold room. Bears are mean, but frogs are always cool. Frogs hop together. This is the ducking Matt Kohrs I love and why I follow. Don't change. I will keep shilling out with you here. Shout out. What's going on, AJ? There's even a bullfrog. Coincidence? I think not. Boom goes the frog. Oh no. The toad community ain't gonna be happy about this. They didn't have the money to afford me. The toad community. They reached out and they're like, hey, we're going to offer you a competitive sponsorship. We hear you might team up with the frogs. I was like, all right, what kind of money are you talking about, toads? And they couldn't fit the bill, flip the bill, foot the bill. Whoa. The American bullfrog. Wow. These things are huge. I didn't know they grew frogs this big. You'd think, as the number one frog spokesperson, I would have a little bit more facts on frogs for you, but I just took the money. Look at this thing. Folks. All right, well, this, if you look the name Frogzilla, I don't know if I should show it because someone like shot it and the guy has a gun. That doesn't seem the best, but these things. The American bullfrog. It's feeling like a bullfrog sort of a day. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it, haters. I hate me too. Doesn't this kid have a computer science degree? I do. And you know what I did with that degree? I balled it up and I yeeted it off a cliff. You know who wanted me to get a degree? The man. And I refused to get a degree for the man. How's AMC's Erbada looking? EBITDA? Jesse. What's going on, Jesse Bolts? Someone told Wall Street that your channel was all hopped up, so now they're trying to leap into action with short hops. Hope you're hoppy. What's going on, moonshots? AMC market cap is about 27 billion on Robinhood and about 19 billion on Webull. 27 billion divided by 500 put the floats. Yeah, Sadie, the issue, what's going on there is Robinhood's wrong. It's like clearly some stupid tech issue. I don't know what they're doing, but AMC does have a market cap around 19.5 billion. Frogs United Collusion Kohrs, aka FU. Never mind. I really hate to trouble you, sir, but there seems to be a frog perched right up on top of your head. Weeble screenshot in your Twitter DM. Corey, thank you. I'll check that out. Citadel intern. Mr. Griffin, Kenny G. Yes, Adam. Citadel intern. This course has frog hat on again, Kenny G. So we're playing hardball, huh? Apish tendencies. Apish tendencies. Becoming an astronaut. Shout out. Water is actually a highly profitable commodity to trade. Very limited supply. Sounds even better. Whoa, did you guys see that, Hop? You guys see that, Hop? You know, when you break out the frog hat, it's all about the hops. It's all about the gap ups and the gap downs. Very, very hoppy type of a day. Highly profitable commodity. I think, isn't that what right after the 2008 2009 debacle that what's Christian Bale profited off of? Wasn't he trading water after that? Wasn't that like kind of the end of the movie? He's like, he trades one thing and one thing only: water. Is that was funny. So for any of you who've seen The Big Short, you're going to quickly learn that Christian Bale became rich off of shorting the housing market. He had these like convertible swaps. But anyway, you know how like when you're watching a Western movie, like that's the cinematography way, like this is like the cowboy riding off into the sunset. I feel like they try to do that, but with a trader. So there Christian Bale was, and they're like, you know what he trades now? Like, it was such a baller way to end it. They're like, this rogue trader, this cowboy, this lone ranger of a trader, you know what he trades now? And then they're like, well, what does he trade? And then they like just slowly just show water. And I'm like, what? Like they try to make it so incredibly dramatic. They're like, yeah, like it was such a baller way to end like what Christian Bale now trades. Guys, I know it's Michael Burry. That's it's not funny if I had to explain it. I clearly know Christian Bale is the actor. Come on. Folks, you need to get on my page today. Water. That's what I want to do. I want to like when we go to the moon after the mother of all short squeezes, I want it to end that way for me. They're like, you know what this like duck guy trades now? And then I just want it to show like a duck in water. I feel like that's the coolest way to do it. Frogs hop together. It came out yesterday that Robinhood didn't have the proper licenses to start a brokerage account, and their employees committed insider trading at 121 squeeze. Wow. Yeah. So Devin, we were talking about that, about like how FINRA found out neither Vlad nor Bot are like properly registered, which seems like very, very bad. Dart frogs are badass. Matt's duck suspenders. Good morning, Matt. Can you check out OWLT? OWLT. Writing it down. Writing it down. OWLT. Got it. Got it. Duke and Duke Commodities Brokers. Hey, Duke, do you have any tips on trading water? I'm going to need them. Long on lily pads, long on tulips. Refresher Weeble is lagging 5 minutes behind. Is that true? 5 minutes? It seems like it's not running behind. I mean, it says 9:54 and it's actually running ahead in the future. It says 9:53 on my computer. It's almost ahead by a minute. This is more of a futuristic style of Weeble. TMK, it might just be an issue with the stream. So if you just want to refresh, oh brother, they unsubbed me for the third time from your channel. Nice frog, Anthony. Thank you for that reminder. I've been arguing with YouTube creator support about that. If you wish to be subscribed to my immature antics that clearly are connected to my lack of attention as a child, and now my stunted psychosocial development has now led me down this particular path. But yeah, if you want to be a part of the show, which has become like a weird bastardized version of like the Truman Show that like is just now my life. If you want to be a part of this, I don't know, let's call it the untethering from reality. As like you can almost see it like every single day, like I'm going a little bit further and further off the deep edge. But yeah, if that's something that provides entertainment to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to, you might even want to like double check to make sure that you're still subscribed. Bullfrog better than bear frog. Kimmer bro putting stuff together. Robinhood increases margin today. Robinhood will only turn on share if you're on margin, per comment earlier. Higher borrowed. Interesting. United Collusion Kohrs. What do you think about CPOP, and how does SGOCO go up 25 to 35% in 15 minutes with lower average volume? So low float stocks are way, way easier to push. That is probably why. CPOP. End of movie, Matt Kohrs sitting in a rocking chair watching the sunset from the porch on his tulip farm. I started trading in tap water after my company almost went bust when a junior broker screwed us on orange juice concentrate. So I just want everyone else to know that, like, this actually isn't a joke. On the futures market, you can trade orange juice concentrate. You can trade. What is going on? We are looking hoppy today. Water. I've never traded water myself. I do have a futures account. A junior broker screwed us on orange juice. Like, that's, I just want listeners to understand that that's not a fictitious comment. That can truly happen. Like, you can trade orange juice. You can trade coffee. You can trade live cattle. It's called live cattle. It's not like, well, I guess if you accepted delivery on it, you would be getting a lot of live cattle. There's crazy things you could trade on the futures market. Forget The Big Short. The better movie was The Big Squeeze. Only question is, will Matt be played by Matt Damon or Timothy? Oh, no. That's already my character in The Big Squeeze is going to be, they're going to hot swap between two people with no mention of it, but I'll be played by DaBaby for obvious like reasons, and also Hulk Hogan. But like every other scene, they're just going to like switch it back and forth. Some people out there are saying that it's already front-running contention for like all Razzie awards, whatever that means, but it sounds pretty good. I believe a highly respected news outlet, what's it called? The Onion, was saying that it's going to be the movie of the decade. So pretty good stuff. Plot of Trading Places. Oh, brother. It's okay to be crazy. You knew who else said they were crazy? Christian Bale. And look at him. He's a millionaire, now runs a water empire. All right. We're making the run. We broke out of the wedge. We're running to 40. Folks, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. A lot of you might, without consciously knowing it, you might subconsciously have noticed, why does he say we're going to have a good day so often? And it's just because as a creator, I can't risk losing the people who are on the fence. They're like, well, like, am I enjoying this? Am I not enjoying this? I mean, some people are enjoying it. Some people have already decided they hate me. That's fine. People's minds are made up. I'm looking at the people on the fence, though, like right in the middle. They're like, I don't know. Do I like it? So that's why I like to remind everyone, like, oh, no, you do like this show. It's a technique. I've never seen a hedge fund manager in person, but you look exactly like I've always imagined they dress behind the scenes. Heard what you said, and they do say never meet your idols, but this is important. What is your favorite species of ape? Please respond. Species of ape? Well, let me, I need to find the specific name. What, there's these crazy apes I saw in a zoo one time. They were just really good at swinging from stuff. How would I even search this name? Kinky Kong. This question is very important, and it deserves a very legitimate answer. In midday session, when I'm not streaming, give me some time to research, and I'll find you the exact species name. It's frozen. Why is it frozen? Why is it doing this to me? Weeble, why are you doing this? 9:53. Time and sales. Come on, refresh. Someone said all apes are beautiful. All right, let me see if I can figure out what is going on with Weeble. Da da da. Da 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 da. Is it gonna load? Is it gonna load? All right. Seems like it's back in action now. Back in action. We were above 40, 39.60 right now. 40. I mean, folks, it was a strong push. We have a little divergence. Don't be surprised that has to take a bit of a breather. Very, very natural, reasonable. RSI overextended, bearish divergence, key level of resistance on top of it. Key level. Oh, brother, more graphs, please. We need at least 9. The frog makes your head smell like old tacos. You want all 9 charts, just all AMC, 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 just 9 different charts of AMC. After the squeeze happens on AMC, could you check out HYLN? Great company, and the institutions are trying to destroy it, shorting it. HYLN, I actually have that in my retirement account. I like their CEO, Thomas Healy. For those of you who haven't heard of HYLN, they're in the EV sector, but specifically for those like big shipping tractors, trucks you see on the highway. They're the class 8, but basically they redo the powertrains to become EV, to switch it from typical diesel to EV. I want them to be very, very successful. I like their CEO. He's a calm, cool, collected, mild-mannered dude. He's pretty much the opposite of Trevor Milton. If you've never heard of Trevor Milton, he's the ex-CEO of Nikola, and he's basically just a liar, and he got kicked out of the company, and Nikola, he kind of ruined it. Like, Nikola could be a good company. I feel bad for all the people who work there, and he's just like, he's gotten in so much trouble. He's just a liar. He lies. And that's Trevor Milton. So Trevor Milton is the ex-Nikola CEO, exact opposite of Thomas Healy, who is the current CEO of HYLN. Frogs, greenbacks, perfect. What's going on, Jen? The monkey you are looking for is a gibbon. Maybe that's it. Jonah. Not Jonah. Johan. Is it a gibbon? Are there black gibbons? I think it might. Encyclopedia. It doesn't. Hang on. Let's look up if this is the right monkey I'm thinking of. What? Folks, this is not what I expected to find, but how could you not love this little guy? Right here. Look at him. He looks like such a polite thing. I guess he is a gibbon, but this must be the most polite primate I've ever seen. Look at him. Look at that smile. Look at these eyebrows. Wow. Okay. I don't know what I was looking for, but now this particular primate right here, this particular gibbon is now my favorite. I like him. I'm going to name him Charles. He seems like a Charles. Really, really respectful. He's my man. Look at that guy. Look at him. Matt and Trey, the creators of South Park, like to kill Kenny. Coincidence. Oh, that got dark. Going to Florida in 2 weeks. I need this to moon so I can sip champagne on South Beach instead of brown bagging it in West Palm. Apes hit that like. What's going on, Mikey? CNBC is busy playing altar boy to priest Vlad right now. Really? Did you change your hair or something? Because you look a little froggy. Hey, Duck Boy, care if I get my wife back after the mother of all short squeezes? Here, oh, wait. I do have another monkey friend. How can I find this? All right. I think I'll just post it. How do I get this out to the rest of the world? How do I get it out? Nope, that's not how you do it. How do you just like, I need to just get it out. When did I take this picture? I made a monkey friend once, actually down in Florida, and it was your comment that reminded, oh, here we go. How do you do this? All right, I'll just get it out there. I'll get it out there. This is my first real life monkey friend, but I really want to meet that particular gibbon. How do you? I'm so bad at Instagram. I don't know how people are skillful at it. How do I do this? Nope, that doesn't seem right. I'll figure this out. AMC currently a 39.40, and then Jimmy's at 167. Here we go. Here's the monkey. The things we go through for content. Next. All right. Here, I could show you my first real life monkey friend. So in Florida, I mean, for the few people in this world who have not seen the show Tiger King, you kind of learn that there's certain states that they just like don't care what you do, like at all. And a lot of these people have really, really cool like animals and animal conservatories and that type of stuff. And I went to one because I had a friend who worked at one, and it was just some sort of conservation effort. And they just let you hang out with these monkeys. And this one and we got around. He like just kind of hung out on my shoulder all day, and he was really, really fun. But this is the only time in my actual life that I've physically touched a monkey of sorts, and we were good buddies. I forget his name, but I'd like to think that he's friends with the gibbon, the really polite looking one. So that's my monkey story. He was a OG. He if you guys want to know how I learned about trading options, it was from that one. That's the monkey that taught me all about the stock market. Good morning, Matt. How are you doing? I'm just wondering what I've missed today. Just woke up. Nice hat, by the way. So I am doing well. Not physically, my feet still hurt from the 10K, but mentally, I mean, look at me. This is the look of someone who really has it all together. Will I quickly be starting a life coaching business? Obviously. So I get it. A lot of people, you come into the stream and it can be overwhelming because you're like, man, how does that guy how has he figured out life? Like, why is he so just mentally stable with everything? And well, that's when you're gonna have to I reveal all of those secrets on my OnlyFans. Oh man, what are we doing today? It feels like a Friday, but it's not. This is I guess this is what happens when I'm away from Rico for too long. I just need Rico to like keep me balanced. All right, let me catch up here. Love tuning in to see a frog on Matt's head. And shout out, thank you, Zeno, for becoming an astronaut. I challenge you to pronounce Mahdia, 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 Mahadia, Maha. Is it a little bit of a singing in the middle of your name? Mahadia. You're gonna name him Charles? What's going on, Charles? Matt the ape looks just like you, bro. Oh man, what is sheep, duckling, cow? Interesting name. What is CNBC saying about Robinhood? Oh, and did we ever get an update on when that is supposed to go live? Robinhood IPO time. No. What makes Robinhood's IPO stand out? This is from CNN. I don't know, just throwing out a wild guess that it might be how much money it loses in a single day. Just my little guess of what might make it stand out. Up next. All right, I'm still not finding a time. They're just keeping us on the edge of our seats. All right. AMC, green on the day. We're trading at 39.43, and we are looking for it to kind of swing back around, get above 39.60. I would love, we know I've said this 40 to 42 thing so much, but it's very important. Above 42, I think we run to 46. Above 46, I think we run to 50. That's my current thesis and prediction. What do you think about interviewing Christian Bale to understand how he traded Mama Doge in the dark pool to replace it with the crashing houses? Charles, I miss that given. You've never seen a proboscis monkey? Google it. You won't regret it. All right, Carl. Let's see. Charles. These monkeys. What is on their face? All right, everyone needs to see this monkey. This is pretty funny. You could just tell that the monkey is saying, hey pal, my eyes are up here. Look at this schnoz. Like, you can tell it's a super dramatic interview. He's like, please stop staring at my face. Don't do that. Do you think the FBI agent who's just like somehow assigned to watching my Google searches is like, what is this kid doing today? You butchered it. Ma with an H and then Dia. Madia. Are you sure there's not singing in the middle? Why does MDA say media is halt? Did it get suspended from trading? There could be a volatility halt, but that's not the only type of halts. There are other halts that are not volatility related. Hey pal, my eyes are up here. Probably a very awkward interview for that particular primate. FYI, screenwriter here. I've already submitted a 20-page outline for a script to my agent based on this title, Apes for Hire, based on 520 to 621. I like that, Micah. That's awesome. I wonder, is your agent going to get it pitched to DaBaby? Or Hulk Hogan, perhaps? Frog Universe. Here's those 3 million borrowed shares. They're dumping them right meow. Very well could be. Let's check Ortex numbers quickly. Quickly. All right, AMC, they borrowed 3.24 million. I agree with Frog Universe. This could be these actually getting sold to the market. But let's see if we bounce off of the red-green move. AMC currently at 39, which actually does keep it above what we just pointed out right here, AMC. And if we go to the 2-hour chart, we are breaking above this wedge. We are getting a technical breakout right now. Let's see if it can hold. It broke above it, and it's kind of now coming down to reevaluate the top trend line. Would love this to close above whatever this high is, 40.92. So let's just call it 41. Obviously, the higher the better, but I'm just saying that would be a nice confirmation of a breakout and a hold of said breakout. What would happen if 1K people place a $100 buy order? You would get filled at 38.92. 1,000 people would get filled at 38.97. Your brokerage still has, I guess, the legal. What's the best way to form this? Just because you put in a buy order way above it, they still have to, the legal onus is on them to still give you what their best attempt at best execution actually is. So just because you put in a market order way above it, they're most likely at worst going to fill you at the lowest ask. Just because you put it in for 100 doesn't mean you're actually going to get filled in at 100. If the ask side is already built out way below it, you're just going to get filled at the lowest ask. You should try to get Hulk Hogan on the live stream with you. You can shout out my wife, Harley. She's a longtime fan. AMC to the moon. Shout out to Raven. Shout out to Harley. And shout out to Hulk Hogan if you are listening. Hood to start trading at 10:20. Henry. Is that accurate? Are you fibbing me? Are you gibbing me? Hood. IWM. Whoa, IWM. Hello, hello, hello. Ripping. Ripping, ripping, ripping. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to find the time of this. I'm not seeing anything specifically about this 10:20 thing, but I'll leave it up just in case that is the IPO time, because we wouldn't want to miss the action now, would we? We would not want to miss that action. Get the popcorn ready. And now that you know my name, can I work for you? I can be your manager and you can always sing my name. I appreciate the offer, but right now the team, I mean, I don't know, we're at a level that they're going well, but if we need to build out to more, I really appreciate that, and we'll definitely keep you in mind. Hey, Matt, is it possible for shorts to cover in the dark pool and not affect the price? It is possible for them to cover in a dark pool, but I don't know why it wouldn't impact the price. Because someone is still, if you're covering, that means buying. So that means someone has to sell it to you in the dark pool. So of considerable size, to me, I think it's a bit of FUD, and I think it's scaring people to say that you can trade on a dark pool with no impact on the price. I've not seen anyone of an expert level in the market confirm that. It's just, you're violating the rules of supply and demand. I don't want, especially the newer apes, to think that that's almost like a get out of jail free card for any long or short position to just trade on a dark pool. There are certain circumstances in which trading on a dark pool does not impact the price, but it's more of a rarity. Most of the time, especially sizable positions, when they're traded, they still impact the price. You mean the ribbiting, not the ripping? Best scenario, Robinhood's IPO 2 days later gets delisted. The volatility in IWM looks like it could have a new term. Maybe maybe we can squeeze some milk into the moon. Justin Wright, let's get the interview trending on Twitter. Matt, could hedgies communicate somehow through borrowed shares or play psychological games like borrow high amount of shares and make shorts think that they're going to have to short, but really they just return those shares? Yeah, I mean, they could definitely be doing that. I think some psychological plays are more likely than other psychological plays, but what you just said of borrowing a lot of shares just for, like, I guess to scare people, that's definitely allowed, and they could be doing it. Chowdhury. Yeah, hey Chowdhury, I would love to talk. You can DM me on Twitter and we could go from there. I appreciate you reaching out. Thoughts on Brazilian hedge funds are suddenly all over GME offshore short hiding. Wait, offshore short hiding. Shorts are really never that present because they're not reported. So you wouldn't even have to go offshore to hide shorts. Shorts are just never ever required to be reported. So you could just do that in the US. You could just take a short position and the governing body right now will not require you to report it. Do you think Dr. Burry has a position on AMC on the low? It's hard to think of that guy that figured out the housing market and made money on GameStop. It's not in this play with us. Charlie, I believe he's been outspoken against this meme rally saying it's a bubble. But I don't know for sure. I don't. Unfortunately, Dr. Burry doesn't text me and say, hey, like I'm buying AMC and GME. I think it'd be cool if he did, but he doesn't. That would be a cool interview to get Dr. Burry on the show. Jacob, Matt, thank you for sharing your DD and opinions with the primate community. Your open-mindedness when presented with conflicting information and dissemination of facts is on point, brother. We appreciate you. Jacob, hey, I appreciate that. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's way easier just to confirm everyone's like echo chamber bias. And I just don't know if it's worthwhile for like the short-term gratification would be damaging to the community in the long term. If I actively know something is being said that is still confirming the Ape Nation's bias, but it's not true, well, I'm not just going to go along with it. That, I don't know, in a way it's way easier just to be insanely transparent at all times because you don't really have to backpedal then. You don't have to like think of it like, oh, I said this last week. It's just way easier in life in general, especially when you're creating content, just to say what you perceive to be the truth at all times. But echo chambers across the board, bad folks, bad. Matt, you feeling okay? You're looking kind of green. If dark pool orders still impact the markets, why use dark pools? Thought that was the whole point. Twofold why you would still use dark pools. First of all, people don't see what you're doing, as in they don't see your buy orders, they don't see your sell orders. So for example, if there's some hedge fund out there that's trying to buy 1 million shares of AMC, you wouldn't want to do that on the lit market because other people would see that order and they would run the price away from you. But on a dark pool, you wouldn't see the level 2, hence why some people like using it. So that's one version or one reason is because you don't see the bid and the ask on a dark pool. The bid and the ask that you're seeing right where my mouse is here on the right side of the screen, this is just for the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. And you can see where people are trying to buy. You can see where people are trying to sell. On a dark pool, you're just seeing pretty much the midpoint price in between the bid and the ask, and you don't see how deep the bid is, you don't see how deep the ask is. So in a way, it's more competitive. It allows you, these big players, to keep kind of their cards close to their chest so other people don't see what they're attempting to do, the buy and the sells that they're attempting to get filled. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is they're inherently less regulated. Dark pools are a less regulated environment than lit exchanges. So some people are, yes, trying to take advantage of the less regulated environment for whatever reason, but the less regulation does not mean that it doesn't impact the price. This less regulation, I mean, obviously that's not good. When you have a stock that's trading a high majority of its shares, like a high majority of all trading volume in what's literally defined as a less regulated environment, well, how could that be good? So I'm against it for that. I think dark pools should have more regulation. I'm not necessarily against this concept of people not showing their big buy orders and sell orders as it's sitting on the bid and ask. Like, of course, we want it reported real time when it happens, but people are using dark pools for those reasons because it's less regulated and it allows them to hide their sitting buy orders and hide their sitting sell orders. It's a hidden buy wall. It's a hidden sell wall. That's why they use dark pools. They're not using dark pools because it doesn't, it's a misconception to think that dark pools don't impact the price of a stock. I don't know how that got started but you're not going to find anything that actually backs that up because it's just not true. Tony, Tesla ripping. What's Tesla at? Whoa, sorry. Let's get AMC back there. Tesla is ripping. It's at 667. It's up $21 today. Wow. Wow. I know Burry hasn't texted you, but what did Bale say? Matt Kohrs is totally real 10K run. Do you know any good European brokers to open account? I can't open with Webull or Fidelity in Europe. Zeno, please, I've never had a UK based account. So someone who's in the UK right now, in Europe in general, let me know. The two I hear of the most are Trading 212 and Revolut, I believe. But anyway, Introverts United, to come back to your dark pool question, let me know if you have like any follow up or if I confuse you even further than your like initial understanding. It's important for people to know what's going on with this dark pool thing. It's important to know what a dark pool is. It's important to know what a dark pool isn't. And it's important to know that they just are less regulated. And when you have a lot, dark pools initially are pitched in the concept of, let's allow big players to post their big buy orders and post their big sell orders without scaring the rest of the market and causing it to trend in a weird. So they are initially pitched to have to improve the efficiency of the market, to allow extra liquidity in the market. They're pitched in a reasonable manner. But with that being said, the way they're pitched, you would assume that you're at most of the time seeing a high majority of large block trades, of someone bought 200,000 shares or something like that. But what's weird is in reality, we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing an incredible amount of very small trades. And it's, I would say, maybe not safe to assume, but I would say it's a strong theory, a strong hypothesis that what that means is that high frequency trading algorithms are running absolutely rampant in dark pools. And they're probably just front running a bunch of orders, making a lot of money. They're very, very advanced algorithms with fancy software, fancy hardware. But the fact that we're seeing an immense amount of small block trades tells me that we're seeing a bunch of high frequency traders, and it tells me we're seeing a bunch of high frequency traders in a less regulated environment. So to me, that's not really how dark pools are pitched and how they're supposed to be used. And I don't know. I don't think that's good. And I think that's something that someone should look into and be like, hang on, like, should we make some sort of, excuse me, should we implement some form of additional regulation that makes sure they're being used in the way that they're like initially pitched to be used? Someone just said Hood is live. I don't see it being live. Is Hood live for other people? Thank you, man. Revolut, to be honest, sucks. I have all my stocks in there, but it's super sucks at 212. There's a queue to open account, but thank you so much. Zeno, yeah, so anyone who's in the UK right now, if you want to post like what brokerage you are a fan of, that would help out with some people. Burry made his money shorting the real estate market. He's currently short Tesla and treasuries. He is a short, probably not the guy for us. Good point. AMC update, it's right at just below 39. It's at that red green move. And then GME is at 168.65. Tesla above 670. That is ripping. Ripping. eToro. I'm seeing some eToro. Someone said AMCX is not AMC. That is very accurate. AMCX is a different company, a different stock. If you're watching this stream, there's a good chance that you probably care about AMC and not AMCX. All right, folks, hang on. Let's stand up. Let's hop up. Did I go high enough? This is actually getting itchy. We can switch it up to the new rain hat. We have a duck based rain hat. Hang on. Let's get this all. Make this look as fancy as it should look. We have our duck rain hat. It's good when the hedgies are crying a lot. You don't want to get all those tears on your hair. All the tears on your hair. Not a good look. We've been there. I'm sure we've all been cried on by hedge funds before. Right. What is the volume on AMC today? 19 million. Man, light volume. What is going on there? GME, not even 500,000. Incredibly light volume on GME. Please explain the level 2 bid and ask on hood. I wish I could, but I'm not seeing any level 2. But just in general, I'm sure it's not different. Level 2 is, if you're looking, I don't know where you're looking at it, but it's most likely the New York Stock Exchange. So it's just one lit exchange's level 2. Level 2 is just the bid and how deep the sitting buy orders go and how deep the sitting sell orders go. And this is important to understand because that's like one of the main differences between a lit exchange and a dark pool is you just don't see the bid and ask. Like you don't see where people are sitting to buy. You don't see where people are sitting to sell. You're just seeing the price that it's trading at, the NBBO, the National Best Bid and Offer. Can you talk why it's important to route orders through IEX, New York Stock Exchange, rather than having it on auto routing, which gets handled by Citadel and Virtu? So it depends. Many orders, if you have on auto routing, are handled by Citadel and Virtu, but they're not always. It depends on your brokerage. It depends what's going on. But usually, in a perfect scenario, your broker is not engaging in payment for order flow, and they're sending it to the route, whichever leads to the best execution. A lot of the times that does end up being Citadel and Virtu. So you're asking about the importance of routing it purposely away from Citadel and Virtu. Well, that's to basically not give them money and not give them information. Right now, Citadel and Virtu are so good at what they do because they see so much of the overall game. They have such an asymmetric information advantage. So when you're going out of your way to ensure that they don't get your orders, you're kind of hurting them because they don't have all the information. Then, like at mass, if many people decided to go out of their way to route away from these two market makers, it would hurt them because they wouldn't have all the information that they're used to having. One of the biggest issues with being a retail trader is just like the lack of quality data, the lack of quality information, the lack of it. And one of the biggest advantages to being the duopoly market makers is the fact that they have so much information, and that includes the information of the orders being sent to them and being handled by them. What is this? Hatapalooza? Yeah. We're treating this Thursday as if it's a Friday because I kind of wish it were a Friday. I don't know about you folks, but I'm ready for the weekend. So let's just instead of having a Thursday, let's just have 2 Fridays in a row. Why not? I use trading. Excuse me. Sorry. Seems to be a little bit of a frog in my throat. Didn't. Man, I'm on fire today, folks. How do you feel about Disney right now? I think Disney is a pretty solid long-term investment. I mean, it's a massive business beyond their parks, but the parks do kill it. They just own so much. It's a huge business, and Disney it's not a massive position, but it's a core position in my long-term account. Hey Matt, Dave, listening at work in the UK Binance can't be used in the UK transaction from banks have stopped deposits. Any news on this? Dave, I have not heard of that. Dave, listen, UK Binance can't be used in the UK transaction from banks have stopped. Has anyone else in the UK had that issue, like Binance related issues? Please look at LC and tell me why Webull is showing it's up 44% when it's going sideways. This is a long term for me, but I'm confused. LC. Um, because it's, what do you mean? I mean, yesterday it closed at 16.25 and it's currently trading at 24.47. It's not really trading sideways either. It went up from 21 to 24. Maybe you're having some charting issues or something like that. But it closed yesterday at 16. Today its low was 21 and now it's trading at 24. So that math seems right to me. Barclay stopped. It could reach new highs today. Boom, boom. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. Banned by UK. Yeah, so Dave, it sounds like multiple people are having this Binance problem. Interesting. Thoughts on AMD? I like it. I'm a fan of it, but I do like NVIDIA more. But whoa. AMD is ripping. Is that a new all-time high? I mean, I own some AMD, but it's one that I'm not actively trading. Like, I just plan on owning it for years. But wow. Wow. That's crazy, folks. AMD ripping higher. Very cool. I mean, if you're in it, congrats. I wouldn't chase it now because the RSI is blown out and made a new high. When something's making a new all-time high, that's not the time for you to buy. You're chasing. Don't do that. But cool. Did you see Keenan last night? Last video on AMC being traded 3,000 times more than the free float at 15 billion for the year. Oh, brother. I didn't see the video, but that also makes sense. People are trying to point out that it's strange that it has so much volume, like just over the year. But I mean, take a step back and realize that it makes sense that it has a lot of volume. I mean, it's a historic event. Like what's going on with AMC has literally never, ever been seen before. The stocks run from 4 up to 20, back down to 5, from 5 to 8, 8 to 14, back down to 8, and then from 8 all the way up to 72. It makes a lot of sense. Like to get big swings like that, typically you need a lot of volume traded. And it's a stock that has a massive community support of over 4 million people. And that's just what we knew of as June. And it's literally a phenomena. So to me, it would be more odd if AMC's done everything it's done on normal volume. That wouldn't add up to me. For it to do what it's done, it makes complete sense that it has like so much volume. I mean, it's a historic thing. Think about how many people came into the market to trade AMC and GME just because of the stories that they're hearing. Like it's the public's fascination with it tells me that there should be a lot of volume because it tells me a lot of people are in it and trading it and doing whatever related to those two stocks. You can't deposit to Binance from a bank. You can deposit crypto from your private wallet or ledger to Binance wallet. Thank you, Peter. Rebecca Black would be ecstatic with 2 Fridays. I use trading 212, but they hold my shares on my behalf. Should I be worried that they may sell before the moon or stop me? I don't think they could just sell from your account unless you like violate their margin rules. All right. I don't think, is this lagging again? 1040. Okay, it looks like it's coming across properly. IWM hit almost 224, but at 223.30 right now. GME, hopefully it can hold on to 167.50. It's been making lower highs and then kind of the same lows on an intraday basis. That's not the best pattern you really want to be seeing. You want it to pull a pretty abrupt U-turn. Someone asked for an Ortex update. They borrowed, same thing as earlier, 3.24 million shares, short interest of 15.44%. GameStop, they borrowed 173,000 with a net of 129, short interest of 14%. So net borrows against both AMC and GME today. Aren't dark pool orders don't affect till it's filled? So you buy 100 million shares at a set price, you get all 100 million shares at that set price. Now on a lit price, the price would increase before you could fill that 100 million. No. You're impacting the price. If you're trying to buy 100 million, someone has to sell it to you at 100. So this dark pool confusion, it's an issue with not understanding the concept of, think about it as like an actual like thing. Like I've used the example of a painting before. For you to buy 100 million, whether on a lit exchange or a dark pool, someone has to be willing to sell you 100 million. You cannot buy 100 million shares unless someone is willing to sell you 100 million shares. So with you trying to buy 100 million, someone is going to quickly notice that there's a massive wall if they see it on the lit exchange, or they're going to notice that there's a massive hidden wall if it's done on a dark pool. But if it still comes back to the fact that someone has to sell it to you, or maybe multiple to people, but like out there in the aggregate, you are being sold 100 million if you're trying to buy 100 million. It's not coming, all shares are owned. It's not like you're buying from a random pool of unowned shares. Ownership for any stock at any time is 100%, and it just goes up from 100% when you have any shorts. But it's not like there's some sort of, I don't mean this as in a dark pool, but it's not like there's a pool of free shares. Like whenever you buy, someone is selling you those shares. Whenever you sell, someone is buying those shares off of you. It's just always transferring back and forth between people. Those people might be you and a market maker, you and a hedge fund, you and a big institution, or you and another retail trader. It's just all these venues do, a lit exchange, a dark pool, a market maker, all they do is facilitate the connection between a buyer and a seller. It's the mechanism that allows you, a buyer and a seller, to actually transact. And that's why they're all called venues. You trade on a venue. That's where a buyer and a seller meet each other. The 100 million, it's, to come back to your example, Tyler, it's all about the supply and the demand at that level. If you post a buy order for 100 million, whether it's a limit buy or a market buy, you can do whatever type of buy you want to do. That's a crazy amount of demand. And to know what it's going to do to the price, you have to see the current level of supply. If there's a supply of 100 million at that price level, well, you're going to transact very, very quickly and the price isn't going to budge. But if there's not 100 million in supply, but that's the demand, that means that the demand is outweighing the current supply, and that's going to run the price up. Think of the demand and supply curve that Trey commonly shows, like in his videos. It's always the most inherent rule of supply and demand. This concept of being able to buy 100 million on a dark pool without changing the price, you're literally that's violating basic supply and demand. You cannot buy unless that supply is there. And if there isn't enough supply at that exact price level that you're trying to do it at, it's going to run the price up, because supply and demand are always going to find an equilibrium. Now, this is very different than saying various players, market makers, hedge funds, they can manipulate supply and demand, but it's still supply and demand. Like they can manipulate it to make it look like there's more or less demand. They can make it look like there's more or less supply. That can happen. And that's potentially happening on dark pools. That's completely possible. But at the most inherent level, you still cannot just randomly pick when to apply supply and demand. Like that's how trading and markets in everything, not just the stock market, but like in life work. What would happen to our country if one day the trading info shows all the shorts are covered? What would happen to our country? I don't think anything, because for them to all cover, there are many shorts out right now against AMC and GME. For them to cover, the price has to run up, because that shorts covering, let's tie this back to the supply and demand. When shorts want to cover, that's in an immense amount of demand, and that demand would run the price up because there wouldn't be that much supply. Demand would be way greater than the supply, and then you see an explosion in price, and in this particular scenario, it's referred to as a short squeeze. Do I believe in the synthetic share theory? So, as in naked, of course there's naked shorting. Like we know that. We see spikes and fails to deliver. Of course there's naked shorts. I don't know if synthetic share is really a theory. Synthetic share is terminology created by this community to basically refer to the shares created by naked shorting. They're called, if you look on Investopedia, I believe they're called phantom shares. Other people call them counterfeit shares. And this community calls them synthetic shares. It is like, I guess, newer terminology, but that's what they're referring to. A synthetic share is a phantom share. It's a counterfeit share that is created by naked shorting. It's when someone is digitally selling something that they don't own. They are taking a short position. They never borrowed the shares. Hence, they created a synthetic share, a counterfeit share, whatever you want to call it. But that one, I don't know if I would really call it a theory, because we do have the evidence of millions, like to the tune of millions of spikes and fails to deliver. And a naked short is a type of failure to deliver. So I don't know if it's really believing in a theory. Like we have the evidence behind it. Do you see Robinhood stock being shorted once options trading becomes available, not financial advice? I mean, you can short without options. Options, calls, and puts are a derivative market based on a stock, but you can buy it or short it as soon as it's there. As soon as someone's willing to loan you shares, you can short it. Shorting can be done outside of the options market. Actually, that is what shorting is. It's done outside of the options market. Calls and puts are derivative-based bets. Hey, Mart, I got a promotion at work. Sweet, congratulations. Can you squeeze AMC quick before I need to do anything remotely responsible or adult-like? Thanks, much love. Remember Game of Thrones when Cersei blows up the sept of Baelor? Ken Griffin reminds me of Lancel Lannister in the basement about to get vaporized. I just made a tweet. Matt Kohrs, Hulk Hogan, let's get an interview. Shout out Justin. Aren't dark pools? All right, we did that. AMD, we did that. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Is naked shorting illegal? Yes, it is. It's been illegal since 2008, 2009. It is definitely illegal. The question is like speeding is illegal, but people do that all the time. Naked shorting is illegal, and I'm using speeding because when you get caught, you get a speeding ticket, and people are like, whatever, I'm willing to pay that fine. And I feel like that's actually pretty akin to what's going on in the market. Is people get caught and they're like, oh, okay, sorry, like we'll totally not do it again. All right, AMC, green on the day. Green on the day. What is this? Can we talk about nectarines? Don't get me started on nectarines. Nectarines, they're fine, but they're wannabes. They're wannabe peaches. When nectarines wake up in the morning, none of them are like, oh, I'm completely happy with being a nectarine. All nectarines do, they wake up and they're like, man, it's fine being a nectarine, but I really wish I were a peach. Let's just be honest. Like there's a lot of people try to like dance around the issue. They're trying to always dance around it. And they're like, yeah, no, like nectarines are fine. Like, okay, yeah, they are fine. But why would you ever pick a nectarine over a peach? Not only are nectarines wannabe peaches, but if you think about it, like if you really think about it, nectarines are like, I suppose, essentially naked peaches that are like way too like hard and tough on the inside. Yeah, they're nectarines are wannabes. Nectarine fun. This message is brought to you by. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Brought to you by the peach industry. You guys thought I was paid off a lot by the frog industry to be a frog industry shill. You would not believe the amount of money I get from the peach industry. They're like, not only like, they pay me double, not only to promote peaches, but then to push down nectarines. They pay me so much money. Like, folks, what I had to do was to keep my brand image and everything. Like, I have a huge mansion castle. Like right now I am streaming to you from like the beach coastside of Malibu. I own an entire compound, but I didn't want to change it because then they'll be like, oh, like what happened to Matt? We like that brand. He was like very like rough and grit, and he like it was just like the production of it was just like this guy and crazy stuff talking from his basement. But the amount of money I've gotten from the shamrock industry, from the peach industry, from the frog industry, working on that deal with the water industry, I didn't want to lose this because like this is the show, like you guys are used to this, and I didn't want it to seem like I've become like unconnected and I've like risen so much in fame that like I don't really relate anymore. So what I did was I paid a bunch of these like fancy army helicopters to like fly my entire basement from Philly out to Malibu. Like we had to hook up these big things. Like we literally had to cut off the bottom part of my house all for the show where I am. And we flew it across the country just to run with the show. And that was completely paid off by like just all these industries. Like so much money coming in sponsorships. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Fruit fun. Nectarines are sweeter. Hey, this is just, it's what I'm paid to say about peaches. So I have to run with this message. Oh man. You ever heard of nectarine cobbler? This is a very good point, Scott. Never heard of it because it's not a thing. What is Matt ever talking about? This is a very, very good question. We got a peach features algo. Oh man. All right. AMC waking up. Waking up. We're moving, we're grooving. Logged out due to inactivity. I don't know what made me think of this, but all right, we're getting close to the end of the morning stream, so I want to share a story with you. When I don't know, I was a youngin'. There I was a lad. Like I looked like this. Just picture me a lot smaller. I don't know. I was probably like 10 or something. I don't know. How tall are 10-year-olds old? I was probably like a foot or 2 feet tall, something like that. But there I was. I'm Matt. I'm a youngin'. I'm a lad. I'm a youth. And I was in school. And there was this in my school. I don't know what she's doing now, but there's this girl named Katie, and she had this literally adds nothing to the story, but I'm a very visual storyteller, so I want you guys to picture this: curly red hair. So Katie, we're both youths. I don't know how tall, 10 years old. I don't even know if I was 10, but something like that. Picture me, but smaller, like fun size me. But anyway, so Katie was weird. And just like a strange person. Like, it even stands out to me now how strange she was. And I always thought that. And like, she wasn't mean and people weren't mean to her. She was just very, very different. And like, I mean, that's a tall order for me to say when like I was wearing like a frog hat earlier. But anyway, so there I was in school, and there's this strange Katie girl, and I was sitting out at a table, and I remember I was going to a doctor's appointment. You know how cool you were when you like left school and it was around lunchtime, so your parents also got you lunch, and you came back and you're like, McDonald's, dude. And they're like, I had some like weird thing that they try to pass off as a hamburger. But anyway, that's a completely different story if I want to complain about like public school lunch. But anyway, so there was a table you sit at, and you're waiting there for a parent to come pick you up if you have like a dentist appointment or doctor appointment or whatever. So I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting by Katie, and I don't know, I think she was a drawer, like an artist or something like that. So I think she was just like doodling something. And my mom came in to get me, and right behind her was this guy. And very quickly I figured out that he was picking up Katie. It was her father. And you have to sign out. You have to sign your kid out. So my mom is waiting. She's now behind him. She ended up talking to one of the secretaries. And I look over, and she's packing her bag. And I look at her dad, because I was like, I wonder like what kind of family Katie's from, because she was a very unique individual. And the dad walks in, and he turns around. So I see his back, and he's signing her out. On the back of his head, he had a bald head. On the back of his head, it said, out to lunch. Tattooed onto the back of his head, it said, out to lunch. And obviously, the fact that I'm now talking about it at 27, clearly, like, I can picture this perfectly. Like, as if I think about this once every 2 weeks. I'm like, at what point in your life are you like, you know when I need to get tattooed onto the back of my head? Out to lunch. Like, I wouldn't say it scarred me, but it was definitely formative, and it's helped me along the path and the journey we call life, and it's gotten to me this moment. Cause like something about it, I try at that age, at my youth age, however tall and old I was, I thought about that, and like I was like, wait, hang on. Like, I knew what tattoos were, and I like knew people got tattoos, and I asked my mom, like, we're in the car, I was like, why would someone get that tattoo? Like, she's like, oh, what tattoo? I was like, hey, that guy you were standing by, it said out to lunch. And she's like, oh, I didn't see that. And I was like, well, why would you do that? Why would you get a tattoo that says out to lunch on the back of your head when you have a bald head and that's the only thing that's there? And I remember she just like, she kind of sat there and she just shrugged, like, we're driving, and she's like, I don't know, I guess he's out to lunch. And that was it. That was my mom's like commentary on it. But like I said, I still think about that once every 2 weeks. And I'm just like, it's fascinating. You can do that. There is no law against it. Devin's law, I don't know if you're listening, but you could totally do that. You can get tattooed whatever you want on your body, including a tattoo that fills up the back of your head that says out to lunch. Fascinating. I love people. It's so cool. Humans are my favorite, man. Like, you never know what you're going to get when you're talking to a human. What's that? The Forrest Gump? Humans are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Out to lunch. Out to lunch. I think we could all learn. I think it's looking back on it now, at first you think it's a joke. You're like, aha, like whatever, he got it. Honestly, I think it's philosophical. Now, like looking back on it, I almost wonder if Katie's dad, Mr. Katie's dad, has figured out more about life than we'll ever figure out. Like, maybe we're the ones that it's behind the 8 ball. Like, he's just, hey, I'm out to lunch. He was from Citadel, getting to you early. Matt, on Weeble, I found something I really like. Check out Yeah, so I want to make a video on those candles before like just using them, just so I can explain, because not many people use them. Thanks for the stories, they make my day. Not even joking, in college there was a British pub called Frog and Peach. Oh, it's in California. Shout out, Cody. Mike, a woman named Peaches. Um, was just visiting Philly and got a pleasure to see Kensington. Crazy world out there. Yeah, it definitely is. Nice fun. Army helicopters. Shout out to my gorgeous pregnant wife, Victoria, and a little baby, Autumn. Love you to the moon. Shout out Ryan, Victoria, and Autumn. 2 space apes and a space ape in training, a space ape family. All right. And folks, with all of that, it is actually time for me to go out to lunch. It's 11 a.m. Eastern right now. I will be back. We're going to do the afternoon session. It looks like we're going to have that midday grind right about now. So I will be streaming from 2 to 4 on this channel. And just so you know, if you guys want to still all talk and hang out, go to Matt Kohrs Clips, and I will be streaming AMC, GME, and Robinhood until I actually go live again on this channel. So on that other channel, I'm about to stream the markets, and you guys can talk to each other. Just give me like 5 minutes to get it up and running, and you can all check it out there. It's the link to it is in the description of the video. If you just want to search it, it's Matt Kohrs Clips, and the picture is like my duck cartoon character. But I'll be streaming Robinhood, AMC, GME, and I guess IWM, so you guys can all talk, hang out, and we'll rock with that. But give me about like 5 minutes to get that up and running. But thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Thank you for listening to all of my all of my stories, I guess. I don't know. But we'll be doing that, and I will catch you this afternoon around 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be going live again to see how this closes out for the day. But thanks for all the support, and I'll catch you guys soon. Don't forget, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.